The whispering wind arrived at dawn, drifting into the harbor without a single sail raised. No crew stood on the deck, no anchor dropped, yet the ship stopped as if guided by invisible hands. Villagers gathered in fear and awe, whispering legends they once believed were nothing more than stories. Aira stood among them, the morning breeze brushing her dark hair. For as long as she could remember, she could hear faint murmurs whenever the wind touched her skin, soft, distant words she couldn't fully understand. But today, the whispers grew louder, clearer, as if calling her by name. Drawn by an unfamiliar pull, she walked toward the docked ship. Something glittered near the wooden ramp, a small brass compass. When she reached down to pick it up, the wind stilled for a heartbeat. As her fingers touched the cold metal, the compass needle spun wildly before locking onto a direction no one recognized, straight toward the ship's silent deck. Aira's chest tightened. "Why me?" she whispered. The whispering wind creaked in response, as though awakened by her presence. Aira hadn't planned to board the ship, but the compass pulled her forward with every step. The deck was dusty, ropes tangled like abandoned memories. Yet the wooden floor felt warm beneath her feet, as though the ship recognized her. Suddenly, a voice echoed from behind. "You heard it too, didn't you?" Aira turned. A young traveler stood at the gangplank, Kael, the quiet wanderer who had arrived in the village only days earlier. His eyes were sharp, alert, like someone who had lived too many lives in too little time. Before Aira could answer, another figure climbed aboard, Joren, the retired captain who once sailed the Whispering Wind 2 decades ago. His hands trembled as he touched the rail. "This ship should be at the bottom of the ocean," he muttered. A strong gust swept through them, and the compass in Aira's hand lit with a faint blue glow. Joren stared at it in disbelief. That belonged to the last captain. It should have been lost. Kael stepped closer. "Looks like the ship picked its crew." Aira swallowed hard. She didn't want this adventure, didn't want the unknown. But the wind whispered again, soft, urging, familiar. And the ship began to move. The sea around them changed faster than Joren expected. One moment, clear waters sparkled under the sun. The next, thick mist swallowed the horizon. Strange islands appeared, places no sailor had ever charted. Trees with glowing leaves, beaches of silver sand, caves humming with unseen energy. Aira felt the whispers guiding her, warning her. On one island, they encountered stone guardians that awoke from the ground, shifting their massive bodies until Aira raised the compass. The glow from its center made the creatures bow and retreat into silence. Kael watched her carefully. "The wind speaks to you, doesn't it?" Aira hesitated, but nodded. "I don't know why. I've heard it since I was a child." Joren overheard and looked troubled. The Angan Pratama, the first wind, was said to choose one person every century. Someone who could lead others to Arunika before its power falls into the wrong hands. Kael stepped closer, voice low. What if the wrong hands are already searching? The sea beneath them rumbled, as if answering his question. The sky darkened, swirling into a monstrous storm. Waves rose like towering beasts, slamming against the sides of the ship. Lightning traced glowing patterns across the clouds, symbols Aira had seen in dreams. The whispers in the wind grew frantic. Aira stumbled to the bow, clutching the compass as it pulsed with rapid, painful light. Kael fought the ropes while Joren battled the trembling wheel. Suddenly, through the roaring storm, a massive serpentine shape emerged beneath the water, a guardian of the Angan Pratama, awakened by their approach. Its glowing eyes fixed on Aira, recognizing the one chosen by the wind. The creature rose, its roar shaking the ship. But Aira raised the compass high. Wind spiraled around her, forming a protective barrier. She didn't know how she was doing it, only that the wind trusted her. The serpent hesitated, then bowed, sinking back into the depths. The storm parted, revealing a soft golden horizon. Arunika was near. Arunika shimmered like a dream, floating cliffs, forests glowing with gentle light, rivers that changed color with each wave. But at its center stood a stone altar where the wind itself seemed to gather. Aira approached it slowly. The compass vibrated in her hand, then broke apart into glowing fragments that rose toward the sky. The whispers grew louder, warmer. Aira, the wind said, clear at last. Thank you for guiding us home. A rush of air circled her, lifting her hair, embracing her like an old friend. She saw brief visions, past guardians, ancient voyages, every soul who once protected the world's first breath. Then silence. The wind settled. The island exhaled. Joren knelt, tears in his eyes. It's finally over. The curse is broken. Kael touched Aira's shoulder. You did it. But Aira shook her head gently. We did it. All of us. As they sailed away from Arunika, the whispering wind hummed softly, no longer haunted, only grateful. Aira looked back once more. The wind whispered a final word,